Hi, Kia listeners. Let's learn Sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. We are at days 9 and 10 of the Haru Basho in Osaka, Japan. The Grand Sumo Tournament. Well, this Yusho race is getting more and more interesting by the day. Takerufuji, he is our sole leader on 10 wins, no losses. Very interesting. He will face some of the Sanyaku over the next few days, and that will really sort out where the race goes. We'll get to that in a little bit of time. So, news that Teru Tsuyoshi retired yesterday, one of our Rikishi who've been around for quite a while, and he's a bit of injury and some illness through diabetes has forced him into retirement. He had some injuries and forced him down the bunske a little bit, but apparently his diabetes has become too difficult to manage in terms of putting on weight, keeping strength and being able to train. He did get into Magashira. He was well known for his big salt throws to purify the ring. There's actually, I think I've got one of his photos throwing about a kilo of salt as my background on my screen for my phone. You might have also seen a GIF of Mr. Teru Tsuyoshi running along in what they call the Cinderella run, and that's what they call the Rikishi when they have to run wearing their big embroidered Kesho Mawashi aprons. Both he and Midori Fuji were doing the Cinderella run, holding their aprons up as they tried to catch up with the Yokozuna for his ring opening ceremony. Go looking for that on Twitter. I may try and post that little GIF on Twitter on Let's Learn Sumo. Other news, Tamawashi became a Japanese citizen today, and he is now qualified to be a stable master given the time and his citizenship. I believe he was waiting to do that, and so he can take over a beya at some point, a stable, and make it his own. Anyway, let's get to day 9. We'll go through some of the matches there. If you haven't seen this match, this is your guilty pleasure match. Kita no Waka and Koto Shoho. This is not something you show to purists. This is something you save in your file to go back and watch and enjoy. Look, it had Rikishi twisting and turning and slapping and bending, and it was pretty good fun. If only for the wind-up slap that Koto Shoho delivered. So at the tachiai, Kita no Waka got turned around, but he recovered to deliver a slap to the face on Koto Shoho as he tried to hatakikomi him. Koto Shoho kept his feet and he tried to kotanage Kita no Waka, but he got his legs tied up with Kita no Waka, which spun him around at the bales. There were some defensive pushes to keep Kita no Waka away, but Kita no Waka delivered another slap to Koto Shoho's face. That was followed by a block by Kita no Waka as Koto Shoho tried to slap him back. And then a big Nodowa thrust by Koto Shoho, followed by quickly 2 good slaps by Koto Shoho as payback. Kita no Waka, he went for a full Nodowa neck thrust, pressing Koto Shoho back like a pretzel at the bales. Koto Shoho, he bent back, but he twisted, got his hand behind Kita no Waka's shoulder and armbarred him down at the bales. Look, officially called a Tsukiyatoshi diagonal body pushdown, but it was lovely work and a great escape by Koto Shoho. Entertaining match, bit of a brawl, bit of fun. Takerufuji versus Meisei. Meisei got a right belt grip and used it to good advantage to move Takerufuji atomic around and out Oshidashi. Shononumi versus Onosho. Shononumi was on 7. Pretty patient sumo by Shononumi. He's waited at the tachiai and then he simply tied Onosho up and pushed him out Oshidashi for an easy win. Takeyasu and Nishikifuji. Look, this was a relatively easy win by Takeyasu as he chased Nishikifuji around the bales for an Oshidashi as well. Ura versus Asaniyama. Ura gets a right under the shoulder grip and then left over the back of Asaniyama's head as he chased him around and across the bales. And he used the grip to pull a perfectly timed Tsukinage beltless arm throw at the bales, with landing both of them outside the ring. Ura gets another win. That got the pair of them to 4 and 5. Abe versus Takerufuji. Look, this was a test for Takerufuji against some more senior Rikishi, but it was not good sumo by Abe. He was steamrolled and bulldozed at the same time by Takerufuji. Ineffective, I would have said Abe was, giving Takerufuji 9-0. Kotonowaka versus Daisho. Look, Kotonowaka, I should say, versus Daisho. Kotonowaka got control of Daisho's arms at the tachi-eye, grabbed him around the shoulder, around the elbows, forced him straight back with a Nodowa neck thrust. I thought that was pretty soft from Daisho, to be honest. 7-2 for Kotonowaka, our Shinozeki. And Daisho's in trouble at 4-5. Midorifuji versus Hoshoryu Ozeki. Karasukashi from the Karasukashi master. Look, it took him a few bashos to get it right, but in the end, even Hoshoryu, who has tried so hard to stop Midorifuji getting his hands into that swing down ninja position that Midorifuji likes so much, Midorifuji got his arm under there right smart off the tachi-eye, pulled him around, Karasukashi shoulder swing down, Hoshoryu goes down. He is 6-3, and that's probably his race for the Yusho done. He only needs 2 to get from day 9, needs 2 wins to get Kachikoshi. Midorifuji recovering a little bit, 4-5, and he's still got a chance for Kachikoshi after day 9. Ozeki Takakeisho, who is Karaban. It is actually a status of Ozeki. When they say Karaban, they're not trying to rub it in his nose. It is actually Ozeki Karaban. Versus Tobizaru. Look, lots of thrusting to begin. Tobizaru was trying to keep Takakeisho's arms out of it. Look, they converted very quickly from thrusting to really big hits. I counted 5 big hits overall as the 2 big men came together. Tobizaru went out Oshidashi through some extreme battle hamster power. They both tried very hard. It was a good match. 7-2 for Takakeisho. Tobizaru 5-4, but he would be gone for day 10. I think he ate the vegetables that someone else ate the other day, and he's got a bit of enteritis, or he needs to go to the toilet a lot. Kirishima versus Nishikigi. Look, Kirishima finally patient, finally a little bit of balance. He used his strength and power to get control of Nishikigi, who's having an awful basho. Easy Oshidashi, 3-6 for Kirishima. He needs that win. Nishikigi, he's in deep strife at 1-8. So that got us to day 10. The big match for day 10 was, of course, between Takerufuji and Onosato. We'll get to that one in a minute. Let's try a few of the other matches. Ura versus Nishikigi. Officially an Oshidashi, but from the tachi-eye, Ura went for an Ashitori leg pick on Nishikigi. He got him by the leg, pointed him to the exit, and out he went. It was good to see an unusual kimarite of an Ashitori leg pick at that point. Ura on his way to a Kachikoshi at 5-5. Nishikigi in deep with 1 win only. Kotonowaka versus Oho. Look, he got control. Kotonowaka got control of him at the tachi-eye, got a hand on his neck and led him to the bales for a Yorikiri. 8-2 for Kotonowaka, I should say. Still in the race. 2 behind at this point, 1 behind until the fight of Takerufuji and Onosato. Hirodumi versus Kirishima. Kirishima, look, he pretty much needs everyone else to get the runs from here on in because he's not having any luck or any form. All of that has abandoned him, and he's now on wood. He's got 5 matches to go with a 3-7 after tonight. Look, they both got a pretty good belt grip on the tachi-eye. They grappled around the ring. Kirishima, look, he only had 1 strand of belt, which wasn't enough purchase to roll Hirodumi over. Hirodumi is a fairly sizable man. He's got that big belly. He does have a fair bit of strength there. He's got a really large core to him, core muscle. They both tried hard a couple of occasions to pull each other over, but eventually they got against the Tawara bales and they both went down at the same time. But Kirishima landed first. Hirodumi got the best of that. That gets Kirishima on wood to 3-7. He needs to win every match from here on in, so he does not go Makikoshi and end up Karaban Ozeki next tournament. Daisho versus Takakeisho. Look, I'm going to call Daisho Mr. Hot and Cold at the moment, this tournament. It's not clear which one turns up on the day. Look, tonight, other than different from last night, where he was fairly soft loss, tonight he showed good power, good thrusting, and good smarts. He got some pretty good thrusting against Takakeisho. In the end, he got a good grab on Takakeisho's back for a Sukiyotoshi diagonal body thrust down at the bales. Takakeisho tried good power and thrusting, but put Daisho under pressure, but he absorbed it well for the win. Still a chance of Kachikoshi for Daisho, only 3 wins out of the following matches. Takakeisho needs another match for his Kachikoshi. He'll probably be a bit disappointed he's not in the race. He's actually wrestling quite well. I would think he was just maybe a little bit unlucky, a little bit too forward tonight. 7-3 going into day 11. Hoshoryu met up with Wakamoto Haru, the Ozeki versus the Sekiwake. Hoshoryu grabbed Wakamoto Haru off the tachiai for an Uwatanage belt throw. Look, Hoshoryu moved slightly to the right, allowed Wakamoto Haru just to go a little bit forward, grabbed him by the mawashi and helped him to the floor. It was really fast. Probably a bit unlucky from Wakamoto Haru. Probably should have watched Hoshoryu a bit closer. Hoshoryu needed that. He goes to 7-3. Wakamoto Haru still a bit of work to do at 5-5. So on to the fight of the night. Takerufuji and Onosato, the big pair up. Look, they hit well at the tachiai. Now it's clear that Onosato, he probably knew that he couldn't sustain a pushing battle or a thrusting battle against Takerufuji. He is a steam train, Takerufuji, when he's on a run. So they did get a good hit, but Onosato, look, he disengaged and he tried to go backwards and retreat to get Takerufuji off balance. Takerufuji chased him, and look, I went back and watched it frame by frame because I was really interested in Takerufuji's feet as he scraped across the dohyo, but a frame-by-frame shows he goes very close to, but he didn't invert the foot to the top of his foot other than the sole. Remember, the rule is you can only touch the dohyo with the sole of your feet. So if he inverted his foot like Kirishima did last year, that would have been a loss. Anyway, as Onosato goes back, he was dancing across the Tawara bales. He went back into the Tokudawara area. That's the little extra bale area on the dohyo. That is still a fighting area on the dohyo, and it's used, basically goes back to when the Gyoji used to get into the ring that way when it was bounded by large hay bales. Anyway, as Onosato goes back, Takerufuji went forward. Look, Onosato steps out, Takerufuji touches down with his hand, Gunbai goes to Takerufuji. Look, in my view, a lot of replays. I probably thought it needed a mono-e. I thought it was a bit closer than what the Gunbai maybe pointed towards, but in the end, there was no call from the judges for a mono-e, and Takerufuji goes undefeated to 10 wins, no losses. A pretty amazing performance so far on debut. So tomorrow night will be the big night as in terms of moving day. Day 11 will see Onosato up against our battle hamster Takakeisho for the final match of the night. Both of them looking, Onosato 2 fights behind our Takerufuji, our leader. Takerufuji will take on Shin Ozeki Kotonowaka. So Kotonowaka, look, he'll be looking for a win there to get him to 9, to keep Takerufuji at 10. Then he'll only be 1 behind. Onosato, well, he's still sitting on 8. Takakeisho on 7. Onosato will be looking to get to 9 tomorrow night as well to keep him in the lead. Takakeisho, look, he's an outside chance at 7-3. Kirishima and Wakamoto Haru up again tomorrow night. I would think, given his luck and poor form, I would think Wakamoto Haru should get that. Hoshoryu should, well, it really depends on which Daisho turns up tomorrow, hot or cold. Hoshoryu, I would still give that match to him. Abi, who tried a very poor hanker today and got taken out, he's up against Shonanumi tomorrow evening. I believe Shonanumi still sitting on 7-3. I think, look, I wouldn't count him into the race, but I wouldn't count him entirely out at that point. Nishikigi, he's in deep strife. Ura versus Atami Fuji tomorrow night. Battle of the 5 and 5s. and Asaniyama versus Oho. Asaniyama still on 5 wins there. Tobizaru, hopefully we'll see him back tomorrow night. We did miss him tonight. Should be a good match-up between he and Meisei. They're both fighting quite well this tournament. So there's a few other matches. Midori Fuji versus Shodai. Will Shodai get Karasakashi'd tomorrow by the Karasakashi Ninja Midori Fuji? I'm looking forward to that one. Anyway, thank you for joining me this episode. We will come back with another one in a couple of days to cover the matches. We'll probably day 13. We'll have a look at where we sit going into the last few days of this tournament, and that should sort out some of these upstarts from the lower Magashira ranks. Thank you for joining me. I'm Clayton. Hakioi, let's learn sumo.